You would polish before you rivet these together. If you do a patina on one of these pieces, like on these flowers, if she had put these through the tumbler, her patina would get kind of washed off. So what she did is she tumbled the bare copper pieces, patinaed, and then did a clear spray paint on top of the pink flowers, and then connected everything together. So the rivet's kind of your last step unless you're doing chain or anything else. But when you rivet, I'm just doing it with 2 little circles that I put together. We have these tools in the red toolbox up front, and the tool drawer says rivet tools or rivet wire, one of the two. And this one has 2 little screws. One side that's a little bit narrower. I'm going to put down an envelope here so you guys can see this a little bit better against white. One side is narrower, pokes a hole. One side is wider, and it flattens your rivet. So when I'm poking my hole through, it's not strong enough to get through 2 layers, so I have to do them one at a time. And then I also have drill bits that you all can use for this instead, if you'd prefer, but they need to be this exact size. So I'll show you which drill bits work well for this. But I twist this through. I feel it get easier to twist when it's poked through my metal. And then unscrew it, and my metal will pop off and have that hole on it. And then my other piece, if I wanted to be really precise, what I could do is I could lay them on top of each other and use a fine point Sharpie and mark through that hole onto my bottom layer so I know they're going to line up where I want them. This guy just being a tester, I am going to just spin this down. And then it might move a little bit while you're doing this, totally fine. But once I get through my metal, I'm going to unscrew this and it'll pop off. Now some of the tools, these guys, the hole poker side breaks pretty easily because people have tried to go through multiple layers. Some of these will only have 1 screw just for squishing the rivet. So if it doesn't have this little narrow side, it's not going to be able to poke a hole. If you're not sure, double check with me, because I've had people get confused and use this side and like gouge a really wide hole in their piece, and it's the last step, and then they have to restart. So talk with me if you're not sure, but assume if it has 1 side, that's just a rivet squisher. I might even take a minute today and label them to help. And then I'm going to do a different color rivet, but we have these in different lengths and different colors in these boxes. And just be careful not to spill them. If you pour them out in the box, and then make sure you're not hoarding these. Sometimes people will have like a whole bag in their box, and then we all think we run out, but we've got plenty. These come in different colors, different lengths. I'm going to show you with a really long one because they're easy to adjust. And the short ones are just for like 1 or 2 layers of metal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these together, and I'm going to put my pre-made rivet head, which is this little flat side, on the front, because that one always looks just a little bit cleaner. So I have that on the front, going through both my layers. And then for this to be easier for me to flip it around, I'm going to steal some tape from the drill table. And I'm going to tape these together. And then that way I can move them and flip them around a little easier so I don't have to worry about dropping that rivet out because the tiny piece falls out. And then in our plier cabinet, we have these 2 pairs of really big red wire cutters. These guys work great. If you use one from a plier kit, they're not going to be as strong, so you might not be able to cut it. But what I'm going to do is this rivet should be about 1 millimeter sticking out from my metal, and right now it's way longer than that. So I'm going to cut this guy down. This is where these pliers come in handy, so make sure you're using the red ones because otherwise they might not be strong enough. And that's going to fly away, and then I've got a little short one. And then on the other side of this tool, there's a little scoop at the bottom for my pre-made rivet head to sit in. And then that wider crank comes down against the part that I just cut shorter. And once I have that guy in line, I'm a little bit crooked, so let me get this guy lined up. I usually work with this. I see people doing this a lot with this project on their box, so they can kind of be at eye level so they can see how it's connecting. I think I'm good. And then I can twist this and it'll start to flatten it. And then I unscrew this. I can take my tape off. I'll also show you all, if you'd prefer a little more control, we have hammers you can use for this. But now this flattened out and these guys are together. These are loose enough right now that I can wiggle them, but if I had them tighter, they would stay put. It's completely up to you, whatever you prefer, if you want it to move or not. But this would be your final step. What I would suggest is if you all are planning on sawing out your negative space, these circle punches, being a little older, make like a lip that's kind of sharp. Before you drill this, I've seen people hold it down like this at the drill and it'll spin and it can cut you because it's a little bit sharp on that lip. Sand it or like file this part down and then make sure that's face down into the wood when you're drilling it, or just drill it before you circle punch it. Either way is totally fine, but just watch out for that because that's one thing that's new with this tool. So that's pretty much it for riveting.